All right, everyone. Hello there. Hello there. I apologize for not starting promptly at 7 p.m. On Wednesdays. I have to go into the office to make the donuts. As they say, that's a shout out to the old Dunkin' Donuts commercial. And I had some setup to do once I got home. So here we are. So it's a bye week for our beloved Maize and Blue. As per usual, there are some interesting things to talk about surrounding our program. Our program is once again in the national spotlight. Some would say it's under attack. So I just wanted to do a stream. Before all this broke, I wanted to do a bi-week stream. So some of the subs, if some of you all are watching and want to come up and say something about the season, there's a lot to talk about right now. I have a feeling our rep from the Buckeye Nation is going to come through and let us know what he thinks. I've been getting texts all week about this thing. I've been getting texts all day about this illegal scouting. I've been getting texts about this all week. Michigan is in trouble. This is bad. This is horrible. The sky is falling. They should be punished. This reminds us of the Houston Astros. Michigan is cheating. So I've had to do my best to keep myself grounded and keep myself in a good place with all this rancor and wrangling coming in. So we're going to talk about that. Whoever wants to come up, Alex is there. Unfortunately, Michael Burden will not be joining us tonight. But if any of my regular subs want to come up and say something, I'm doing this stream for you all. And so I plan to open it up. The snowman might come through. I know he's got opinions on this stuff. Coach Terry might come through. I think he's coaching, so he might come through. So I'll open it up. I'll let it go to a little bit after 9. I'm going to read 2 pieces regarding this whole thing, and then I will drop the link. If anyone wants to come up and say something, I will allow that, though I know what some people are going to say. So I'm going to play this intro, and then I'm going to get started. This has not been a good StreamYard week. There's something technical going on with this software. Last week, well, I won't get into it, but let me make sure I can see myself. Can you guys hear me okay out there? Can you hear me? Put a 1 in the chat. Say, yes, we can hear you. You sound good. You sound decent. You're Borging. You sound choppy. Can you guys hear me? This has not been a good StreamYard week. My clock is running over here. Let's see. All right. Raheem Gaines can hear me. Hey, please smash that like button if you haven't. The likes are free. Whoever comes in for however long you stay, please smash that like button. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to the channel. This is Big Discussions 76, Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar. I am the content creator for this channel. I am a Michigan alum. That's where my doctor title came from. I am a blogger and a writer and a soon-to-be author. But for the sake of this discussion, I am a Michigan football fan. And for Team 144, it was funny when not funny when Michigan State got into its legal troubles this season. But I think when the season started for Team 144, no one thought that we would be in some sort of thing. I'm going to get to that shortly. But first, let's go over the top 25. Michigan is on a bye, so they are not playing this week. So they have lots of time. They have lots of time to watch social media and for their friends to send them all kinds of articles and links about how their program and their season is in trouble. Please smash that like button if you haven't. Everybody, let me know what you think in the chat. I have two pieces, and then I'm going to open the stream up for those who want to come up. So the top 25. What does the top 25 look like at this point? All right. Well, the top 25, as it's constituted right now, let me switch to this. Georgia is number 1. Michigan is number 2. We're on a bye. Ohio State is number 3. Florida State is number 4. Washington, UW, they're number 5. Oklahoma's number 6. Texas is number 7. Oregon is number 8. Alabama is number 9. I don't think Alabama's breached the top 4 all season. And Penn State fell from number 7 to number 10 following their loss to the Ohio State Buckeyes. I don't think I'll go over the top 25. You know what? Should I go over the entire thing? What time is it? No. I'm not going to prolong this stream by going over the whole thing. All right. So that's the top 10. Wait a minute. Florida State fell out of the top 25. Where's Florida State? Why is Florida State not in the top 25 there? Oh, wait a minute. No. I'm sorry. They're number 4. Never mind. False alarm. All right. So that's the top 25. So Florida State's number 4 right now. All right. So let's see. So let's go over the Big Ten standings as they currently are, assuming everybody gets to finish out the season. All right. So right now in the Big Ten East, there is a 2-way tie at the top between Michigan and Ohio State. Penn State has 1 loss. They got that 1 loss against Ohio State on Saturday. Interesting game. My feeling is that if Penn State could have just generated some offense, they could have won that game, but they weren't able to generate any offense against the Buckeyes. Out in the West, Wisconsin is at the top. I believe Ohio State goes up there this weekend for a reunion with Luke Fickell. And then Iowa is right there behind Wisconsin at 3-2. So that looks like a 2-team race right there. And right now, if Michigan defeats Penn State in 2 weeks, we will be in the thick of a 2-team race in the Big Ten East. All right. So now, Michigan schedule. I'm going to go over this really, really quickly. Please smash that like button if you haven't. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. All right, so Team 144. Why are all these privacy things coming up? Team 144 has done what it's been expected to do. It's run through all of its competition pretty effortlessly. They've run through all their competition up to this point effortlessly. East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota, Indiana, Michigan State. Next up is Purdue. I was going to go to that game, but I think I'm going to sit this one out for fiscal purposes. So that's their schedule. And then after that game, they will probably be expected to win that game handily. Then the final three, assuming everybody gets to finish the season out, are this: Penn State. The Wolverines have to go out to Happy Valley. They come here to the DMV to play Maryland. I have to get my ticket. And then the big game on November 25th, which both our fan bases are looking forward to, assuming everyone gets to finish the season out. All right, so this sign stealing thing, this illegal scouting thing. I've been getting articles all week about this. I've been watching podcasts about it. The guys in my text group, or all except for Raheem Gaines there, people have been going on and on and on about how Michigan is in trouble. Michigan are cheaters. Michigan is finished. Michigan is done. Michigan is bad. Michigan is evil. Michigan. It's been like that all week. So I have an article here from ESPN that I'm going to read, which I think kind of sums up what's going on now and what the allegations are. The good news is there's a counter movement to this. I think one of the subplots to this is that the NCAA, Coach Harbaugh, he's back there sitting on my Tupperware, my storage right there. Allegedly, one theory is that the NCAA took offense to Coach Harbaugh standing up to them at the beginning of the season and with his views on the NIL and revenue sharing for the players. So one theory is that they have it in for him. Another theory is some of the other teams they just threw up this smoke screen and they want to throw whatever wrench they can in Team 144's season. So there are a lot of theories surrounding this, but the long and short of it is, whenever there's a scandal surrounding Michigan, whenever the Michigan football program is under duress, people love it, people rally around it, people jump on it, and it's like a feeding frenzy. So that's kind of what's going on right now. The good news is there's a counter movement. The good news is that there are other vocal individuals speaking out against the NCAA and outwardly saying that this is baloney. And one of the things I was thinking today with these allegations swirling around is, number one, for the things Michigan is being accused of, honestly, how many other teams have done equivalent things with the technology, with the access to funds? How many of the other schools in other conferences, even in the Big Ten, how many other teams and programs have done these types of things? Why is Michigan being singled out? Okay. Is this out of the ordinary that Michigan is doing this or allegedly has done this? And then the other thing is, in the article, this ESPN article that Buckeye Alex so generously and magnanimously shared earlier, these investigations take a while. So there likely won't be a verdict until after the season. So the Wolverines will most likely get to play their season out. So the games will in all likelihood be played. And then I thought to myself, well, the NCAA is separate from the college football playoff. That those are two separate bodies. Could the college football playoff, for their revenues, for their TV, for their viewing, would the college football playoff hold their number 2 team out, which is arguably the best team in the country? If they're separate from the NCAA and they don't have to do what the NCAA says, would they hold Michigan out? All right, this ESPN article. This is not a long one. I'm sure it's nothing you guys haven't heard before. Please smash that like button if you haven't. The likes are free. They help out with the channel. Please consider subscribing if you have not. Okay. Sources. Michigan staffer bought tickets for non-Big Ten games. I looked through the yearbook I bought at the East Carolina game for Colin. Well, his name is in here. His picture isn't in there. All right, at least not that I have seen. Connor Stallions. Okay, the scope of the alleged illicit scouting ring being orchestrated by suspended Michigan analyst Connor Stallions continues to grow, as sources told ESPN on Tuesday that he bought tickets for games at 4 schools outside of the Big Ten that were either in college football playoff contention or playing contenders. There also is record of Stallions buying tickets to the 2021 and 2022 SEC title games, sources told ESPN. Okay, the tickets to the SEC title games were purchased on the secondary market, according to sources. ESPN also learned that Stallions, who is at the center of an NCAA investigation into Michigan's alleged sign-stealing operation, bought tickets to a 12th Big Ten school, as sources at 12 of the 13 possible Big Ten schools have a record of Stallions buying a ticket there. ESPN reported on Monday there were 11 schools. According to 4 sources, all of the tickets for games outside of the Big Ten involved CFP contenders and were purchased either toward the middle or end of the 2022 season, as Michigan was headed to the college football playoff for the second consecutive season. The Big Ten announced last week that Michigan, 8-0 and 5-0, 8-0 overall, 5-0 in the Big Ten, is under NCAA investigation for the alleged sign-stealing operation. The Wolverines are the number 2 team in the country and the current betting favorite to win the national title. Soon after ESPN reported that Stallions had emerged as a centerpiece of the NCAA's investigation into Michigan's sign-stealing scheme on Friday, the school suspended him with pay. Since then, schools around the country have been checking their ticket data, which includes the secondary market in most cases, to see if Stallions purchased tickets to their games. He purchased tickets to our games. ESPN has confirmed that Stallions has purchased tickets to more than 35 games in 17 stadiums around the country. He has used a network of at least 3 people who were forwarded the tickets to attend games. This is funny. A source told ESPN on Tuesday that the NCAA has been sent at least an hour of video evidence that shows a person sitting in a seat appearing to video the home sideline with a smartphone. Stallions purchased the ticket for that seat. The video is expected to be used as a part of the investigation to show that electronics were used in the sign-stealing ring, according to sources. This feels like an episode of Seinfeld. All right. Unless something happens right now, it's irrelevant, a source on a Big Ten campus said, underscoring the frustration around the league. Everyone is mad. This is not right. But what is the NCAA going to do about it? Although the NCAA is leading the investigation into Michigan, the Big Ten could take action against the school before the probe is complete, sources told ESPN's Adam Rittenberg on Tuesday. The Big Ten sportsmanship policy states that Commissioner Tony Petitti has the exclusive authority to determine whether offensive actions have occurred and to impose discipline for members. The policy lists integrity of the competition as a fundamental element that all Big Ten schools are expected to uphold. Institutions are responsible for the actions of its employees and for cooperating with the league during an investigation. The Big Ten has two categories for discipline. The first includes fines that don't exceed $10,000 and suspensions of no more than 2 contests. The second, for a major disciplinary action, requires approval from an executive committee made up of representatives of different schools, which can deny proposed penalties or reduce them, but not add to them. The Big Ten's penalties for Michigan State from the fight with Michigan in the Michigan Stadium tunnel in 2022 were an example of major disciplinary action. A source told ESPN that the Big Ten would want to have as full of a picture of what the facts actually are if we were to act before the NCAA completes its investigation, which likely would not occur until sometime in 2024. All right, Abdul Gaines is here, so we have to give Abdul Gaines his typical greeting.
All right, and I'm going to continue to live that way and try to do what's right. And, you know, that's who Nick Saban is. All right, so regardless of what anybody says, that's who Nick Saban is.
Abdul, I'm not sure that one played all the way through. Let me play it again.
All right, and I'm going to continue to live that way and try to do what's right. And, you know, that's who Nick Saban is. All right, so regardless of what anybody says, that's who Nick Saban is. Well, the number one thing for me, Nick Saban, all right, whatever anybody thinks, is to be a good person. Honesty, integrity, loyalty, being fair and honest with people, all right, has always been the trademark of what I've done.
All right, there you go, Abdul. There's your proper greeting. Well, hold on. I think Abdul wants one more. I think we'll give him one more from his other favorite coach.
You're top of your helmet, right? Every moment. The Cinderella story is over, man. Right? They're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. There's a difference, right? There's a difference.
Those are official greetings for my channel's resident super fan, Abdul Gaines. Shout out to Anthony Davis and the Los Angeles Lakers. Who's your daddy? All right. All right. In a statement last week, let me get through this. In a statement last week, Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh denied illegally stealing signs and said he had never directed any staff member or others to participate in an off-campus scouting assignment. NCAA enforcement timelines are notoriously slow. Michigan is still under investigation for recruiting violations tied to allegations that emerged during the COVID-19 mandated recruiting debt period. I think that's the cheeseburger thing. The emergence of Stallions purchasing tickets at 3 college football playoff contenders outside of the Big Ten reflects the potential breadth of the operation, which sources told ESPN last week was elaborate, quote unquote, after ESPN reported on Monday that the sources at 11 of the possible 13 Big Ten schools had confirmed Stallions bought a ticket in his name at their stadium. Another source at a 12th Big Ten school found a record of Stallions purchasing a ticket at their stadium. The school that didn't find Stallions in the records does not have access to search names in secondary markets. According to the source, the ticket was purchased across from the visiting sideline for a game against Ohio State. It's the 4th Ohio State-related game that ESPN has confirmed, 3 of which were in opposing stadiums where the tickets were purchased across from the visitor sideline. The 4th of OSU's game against Penn State on Saturday, for which Stallions had purchased tickets across from both sidelines, according to 2 sources. Michigan must play both of those teams this season. Those tickets were not used after Stallions' name emerged in an ESPN story on Friday. Michigan faced Georgia in the 2021 college football playoff after scouting them in the SEC game against Alabama that year. how much did that help us? Michigan lost to Georgia 34-11 in the college football playoff semifinals. That was a rough Christmas. I caught COVID during that Christmas. All right. On Tuesday, a Michigan spokesman reiterated that the school is unable to comment further due to this being an ongoing investigation. A Big Ten official also declined to comment further. On Monday, the league told ESPN that it considers the integrity of competition to be of the utmost importance. Due to the ongoing nature of NCAA investigation, the conference has no comment at this time. So integrity. So as I read this earlier, thank you, Alex, for sharing this. I wondered, okay, so the spotlight, the cannon is turned at my beloved Mason Blue. How many other schools do this? And yeah, how many other schools do this? If you were to search all the records and search all the sales and all the receipts, how many other schools do this? I mean, we're not talking about paying players or giving them Mercedes-Benzes or anything. And that I thought about it earlier. I know this is big time college football. Okay. You're supposed to scout your opponents, right? I know Alex is gonna jump on this when he comes up here. You're supposed to sectional time. Coaches go and watch the teams they're gonna play. I mean, what are we talking about here? All right. So please smash that like button if you haven't. Now, there's a voice of reason here. Shout out to Raheem Gaines there. The voice of reason. And a lot of people are stepping up and saying, what are we talking about here? Why are we worried about this? I was pleased. We've made light of Coach Prime on this channel. And I was pleased to see Coach Prime add a douse of common sense to this whole thing. So this reads as follows. This one is short. I promise it's short. There's Coach Prime right there in the actual press conference. When he was asked about this, he's growing out his gray beard just like me. Deion Sanders does not seem overly concerned about Michigan's sign stealing scandal. The Colorado head coach downplayed how much stealing signs helps opposing teams during his meeting with reporters Tuesday. I don't know how accurate that stuff is, Sanders said. I mean, everybody's trying to get an edge. Everyone's trying to get an edge wherever they can. You can have someone's whole game plan. They can mail it to you. You still got to stop it. Suspended Michigan staff member Connor Stalions has been at the center of the Wolverines sign stealing scandal. Pete Damel and Mark Schlabach of ESPN reported Stalions bought tickets to 30 games featuring 11 Big Ten opponents over the past 3 seasons, and some SEC teams too. The assistant coach is accused of using those seats to have people illegally record hand signals, a violation of NCAA rules. Stalions is currently suspended with integrity of competition to be of the utmost importance due to the ongoing nature of the NCAA investigation. The conference has no comment at this time, the Big Ten said in a statement. The seat purchases coincide with Michigan's reemergence as a national power after a dreadful 2-4 campaign in 2020, which put Harbaugh arguably on the hot seat. Michigan has compiled a 33-3 record over the last 3 seasons. The Wolverines made the college football playoff in 2021 and 2022 and are again favored to be among remaining this season. In-game sign stealing is not prohibited. However, the use of recordings of opposing teams and in-person advanced scouting are violations of NCAA rules. Michigan said it plans to fully cooperate with the NCAA investigation. Harbaugh already served a 3-game suspension this season for violating COVID-19 practicing policies. If he's found out to have orchestrated the scouting scheme or have known about it, it's possible he will face dismissal. All right, that's all. I dropped the link. If anyone wants to come up, I know at least one person probably does, to talk about this. Can you guys still hear me? StreamYard's been doing something funny this week. Can you guys still hear me? Can you guys still hear me? All right. All right. As Jerry Seinfeld said in that, that American Express commercial, release the hounds. Thank you for letting me know you can still hear me. I saw a glitch here, and then StreamYard did that signal thing. The link is right there. If someone wants to come up and talk, and I know what Alex has to say, but the link is right there. Anyone? Bueller? Well, in the meantime, I'll read some of your comments. Raheem Gaines says, I wonder would the voters hold this controversy against Michigan if they only lose to Ohio State, given the current number of one-loss teams? Everyone, please smash that like button if you haven't. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If nobody wants to come up, then I'll just end the stream and microwave my curry chicken dinner from Trader Joe's and go watch some TV. Abdul Gaines, here we go. Abdul Gaines says, Alex is not camming up. I like when my guests cam up, but that's okay, Alex. I'll talk to an avatar. Excuse me. I'll talk to a white circle. Hold on. He says, the Wolverine, here we go. The Wolverines cheated. It doesn't mean the university is a corrupt institution. It just means the football program cheated. Let me get through the rest of these. Abdul says, sounds like Saban channeling his inner Jim Harbaugh right now. He's still sore about that beating in Eugene. That's a Dan Lanning reference. There's some Whitlock energy in here. Beating a cheater doesn't invalidate the cheating. Nats and Braves beat Houston in the World Series. Houston is still a bunch of cheating mofos. Well, Jim Harbaugh didn't make things easier on himself, pushing back at the NCAA. The NCAA was not happy that Michigan decided to suspend him for 3 games before they could hand down a punishment. Let's see. You guys can hear me? Yeah. All right. Make way for Buckeye Alex. And if the snowman comes through, or Coach Terry, or whoever else wants to come up, I will cede the floor. Alex, let it rip.
Good evening. I mean, I think you covered the main piece, that what they did was illegal, right? I think that, I mean, it's kind of black and white, I think, at this moment in time. What they did was illegal according to the NCAA. And I don't think it necessarily, I think people are looking at this in kind of the wrong context. Sign stealing in game that's a thing that happens all the time. That's not what this was. So trying to mess with what the actual NCAA rule is and trying to follow like somebody like Steve Dace tried to do earlier today is just, in my opinion, completely irresponsible. I think that also the the what they didn't necessarily affect wins and losses, but what it did affect was the spread of each game that they won. I think that's the more important piece, is that you're affecting millions of dollars at this point because of what they did.
Do you care to explain that point?
Sure. Give me just a second. Okay. So up until 2020, Michigan was 42-22. They were 32-38 versus the spread. Once they decided to employ this young man who has now been suspended, they have gone 30-3, and they are 26-6-2 versus the spread.
Okay, so hold on. You said up until 2020.
Correct.
Okay.
The COVID year. Up until the COVID year.
Okay.
After the COVID year, they're 30-3, their record. They are 22-6-2 versus the spread versus 32-38. That's where the issue lies. Now I'm gonna back this up by some other things, okay?
Okay.
We're gonna talk about Michigan's recruiting classes, because this is part of it. I don't think that the run they went on was due to a number of things, but I think they were going to win those games regardless. But I think when you start talking about the money that's involved, it's a completely different conversation. In 2015, they had the 37th ranked recruiting class. 2016, the number 8 recruiting class. 2017, the number 5th recruiting class. 2018, the number 22nd recruiting class. 2019, the number 8 recruiting class. 2020, the number 10 recruiting class. 2021, the number 13 recruiting class. 2022, the number 9 recruiting class. 2023, the number 17 recruiting class. So you can see that the recruiting classes are typically around the top 14, top 15. They've brought in some really good NFL coaches, to coach these guys up. We've talked about it, repeatedly. So the talent was there. They were going to win those games. I don't believe that the signal stealing affected the game one way or the other. I don't believe that. What I do believe is the margin of which you win those games by is what was affected. And that's gambling, that's money. And we all know the NCAA is majorly about their money. What if people start coming back and asking for their money back due to the sign stealing? What happens then? Like some of these companies that do online betting are they're like heavily in conversations about taking Michigan off their betting lines for the rest of the season.
Okay, Alex. So let's take a pause. So the spreads. So are you asserting that Michigan scored more points because of this, or
yes,
what?
Yes.
So, dude, if you look at the Cinderella season when Cade took over, dude, our offense struggled. We were worried about our offense early on. Yes. I mean, we weren't blowing the doors off teams that season.
It doesn't matter if you're blowing the doors off the teams. It matters what your record is versus the spread.
Okay.
Your record over the last 3 seasons is 26-6.
Okay, bro, but you realize for some of those games we were barely beating Rutgers. We were barely beating that 2021 season. We were scraping by. Even last year, some of the games after JJ took over, we were scraping by.
You still covered the spread, which is that type of record versus a spread is just not normal. That's what I'm getting. Like, that's not a normal thing. That's like That's an unreal run. And I think everything had to go right. I think the coaches, the recruiting, the sign stealing, I think all those things play a factor. I think they all play a factor. Here's the thing. I think even with the sign stealing, as stupid as it is, they cheated. That's what it is. They cheated. I'm just going to call it like they cheated. They probably didn't have to. That's all I'm saying. Just because you won the games doesn't invalidate the cheating because you cheated.
Okay.
Like you can't get a speeding ticket, and when you get pulled over, be like, well, everybody else was cheating. Everybody else was speeding. But you're the you can't your argument is that if your argument is everybody else is doing it, you're still technically breaking the law.
Well, Alex, I think where that point is going is that one theory is that there is a vendetta specifically against our program, our coach.
I mean, maybe not. I can't speak. Here's the thing. I can't.
So if you're going to do that for one school, you should do that for all the schools.
Yes, but that's living in an unrealistic world.
Then
realistic.
if you're not going to do that, then this whole thing is baloney.
Here's the thing. I think Ohio State's scandal was stupid. I think both scandals that they had were dumb. And people came on the hill. Urban Meyer resigned because of something that an assistant coach, which found out later, like said that he was accused of something that never happened. And he had to resign due to that. We're seeing the same thing with Mel Tucker. He had to resign due to an allegation where now the details are not coming out. Probably didn't do what he was accused of doing. Like, none of it's fair. So like we can't say, well, it's not fair. None of this is fair. Just don't put yourself in a position where somebody can come after you.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't compare sexual.
No, what I'm saying is that you accuse somebody of something and then it comes out. Let's say we're accusing Michigan of doing, well, we know they did it. Here's the thing. We know they did it. If it comes out later that everybody else was doing it, it doesn't change the fact that Michigan still did it. None of that changes. None of this thing is nothing about sports is fair. It just isn't. And I understand everybody always tries to get a competitive edge, but nothing about big time sports is fair. It's never going to be fair. I'm not going to sit here and act like it is. I mean, I coach 2 teams right now. Like, trust me, I get it. I've been coaching for almost 15 years, or over 15 years. Coaching in sports in general, it's not fair. Like, I've gotten good calls. I've gotten really bad calls. None of it's fair. But you can't cheat, and they cheated. And not knowing the rule is not an excuse due to the fact that you broke it. Not at this level. You can't be like, oh, well, we didn't know the interpretation. No, like, read the rule. It's pretty cut and dry. It's pretty clear. You can still sign. If you get the signs in the middle of the game, hey man, hats off to you. Knock yourself out. But if they knew what they were doing was wrong, then he wouldn't. Then the tickets that he purchased to the Ohio State Penn State game, he would have went to that game, and he didn't because he got caught.
Okay, well, we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. This, from my vantage point, I mean, this is whatever this is nothing the other schools, I mean, haven't done.
We don't know that.
Are doing.
We don't know that. I've never heard of anything
it doesn't matter whether or not you heard about it.
I've never heard of staffers purchasing tickets at the 50-yard line, taking videos of the other sidelines.
Alex, there are tens of thousands of people in those stadiums.
You're 100% correct. I just have never heard. Listen, if it comes up, what we can't assume what we don't know. I'm not going to assume what we don't know. I'm just going to go off of what I know. What I know is He bought the tickets. He cheated. He worked at Michigan. If he worked at Ohio State, I call him a cheater too. Like, just across the board. Like, if he went to Iowa, he's a cheater. If he worked at Iowa, he's a cheater. If he worked at USC, he's a cheater. If he worked at University of Florida, he's a cheater. If he worked at Alabama, he's a cheater. If he worked at West Alabama, he's a cheater. You broke the rules, period. Like, it's pretty cut and dry. Like, you broke the rules. And the argument can't be, well, we think everybody else is doing it when you don't know everybody else is doing it. Like, we don't know that. But
Alex,
what we do know is that Michigan's doing it.
Alex, be realistic.
I am being realistic. I'm going off of the facts. If there are facts that support what you're saying, hey, man, I will ride with it. But there isn't right now. So I'm just going off of the information that we have.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all we can go off of. Listen, if it turns out, hey, man, every team in the Big Ten is doing this, then you know what? You're all cheaters, Ohio State included. But that's not where we're at right now. Same thing with the Mel Tucker situation. Hey, man, I was like, you got to be better. You can't do that. Now it's coming out. Hey, this person baited him. Same thing with Trevor Bauer and other athletes. Like, this is a thing that's happening as information comes out. You make an assessment, things change. Information changes, right? Information changes the situation. Right now, this is just where we're at. I'm not going to speculate about what other teams do. I'm just going off of the information that's available.
Okay. I'm going to read some of the comments here. PJ Graham says, it's a effing vendetta, nothing more, nothing less, go blue. Peanut Butter Hero says, Ohio State hired away Michigan's old coach, and he took their signals with him to Columbus.
That doesn't even make sense because they changed the defensive coordinator. You sound like an idiot. Sorry.
No, I mean, Ohio State, some sore losers. Peanut Butter Hero says, just lose and be humble in the Outback Bowl. Peanut Butter Hero says, great teams cover the spread.
Not at that record, they don't.
He says, blah, blah, blah. Worry about your own team, and maybe you guys can win back-to-back titles someday. Closed AI says, all we did was in 21 was hand the ball off to Haskins and Blake. Day. I think that means Ryan Day, something related to Ryan Day. PJ Graham says, unleash the floodgates. There's so many retired and active coaches that are saying it's totally abroad, the whole spectrum of college football. What does the NCAA have against Harbaugh? Peanut Butter Hero says, Ohio State fans want to be judge, jury, and executioner. Ohio fans will will grind this to the ground. Peanut Butter Hero says, have you ever heard of players getting cash and tattoos in exchange for signatures? That's a callback to, who's that? What, Terrell Pryor and those guys?
It wasn't cash, you idiot. It was just tattoos.
Okay. Peanut Butter Hero says, it's only cheating because you guys didn't think of it. And then Closed AI says, as much as I don't want to be true, Buckeye Alex isn't wrong, but it's kind of shitty that the only one team has been under investigation this season, and twice it's been Michigan.
Listen, that might be a coincidence, but listen, I don't know the reason why. And it sucks. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, it sucks for the kids who are involved. That's really what this, for me, that's, kind of what it boils down to. It makes I hate to see their season tainted based upon something that somebody else did that is out of their control. Like, that's not cool. And it has nothing to do with what team I like, what team I don't like. I don't care. Like I said, if it was West Alabama, I don't care if it's, I don't know, Central Florida. I don't care if it's the University of Akron or the University of Buffalo. Like, it sucks that we're having to have this conversation and a kid's season, the kids up north are having a really good season, it's going to look like their season could be tainted. If they win whatever they win, people are going to question all the wins that they had, which I don't believe that's fair, but it just is what it is. That sucks for them. Like that can affect draft status. It can affect a bunch of different things with that team. And it's unfortunate that we're sitting here talking about it, but that's what it is.
Okay. Well, we are at.
And that's why just for the record, the Ohio State players traded their gold pants that they won against Michigan for tattoos, just so we're clear on that.
All right, Peanut Butter Hero. I think that one was for you. Let's see. Raheem Gain. Let's see. Peanut Butter Hero says Connor was extremely messy. I will say that. And Raheem Gain says the team up north coordinators will be in hot water too. Okay. Well, at this point, it's up to the NCAA and the Big Ten, the Big Ten and the college football playoff, and I guess we have to wait and see what happens.
Hopefully, they don't ruin these kids' season at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, that's really what it's about. Although we're sitting here talking about stealing signs, it's really about the kids, because they as far as we know, they had no hand in this, and they didn't infect the integrity of the game, and it looks like some other people did. And if the kids get punished for that, I just believe that's just flat out wrong. I don't know how you punish the coaches and not the kids, but if we know the kids weren't involved, they shouldn't be punished for this, which it looks like usually in the situation like this, kids coming down the pipeline get punished for things like this. So I just hope that doesn't happen.
Well, I think we both agree there. PJ Graham says signs don't make the toughness or preparation of a team. Buckeye dude ain't wrong, just sucks.
Yep.
Closed AI says, I thought it was BS when they came down on OSU players for tattoos.
It was, but it is what it is.
He says, I think the punishment should be on the coaches, not the players. Okay. Well, let's see. What time is it? It's almost 9:00, 53 minutes. It's just us. Alex, do you have anything else you want to say?
Nope. Let's just see how it plays out. I mean, I think according to all the reports, it's kind of like, I think once they come down with some type of ruling, they have 90 days to appeal. So we're really talking about this and going into next year. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see how things develop. And like I said, it sucks for the kids because, if what happened, if teams are going to hold, when I say teams, like NFL teams are going to hold what happened against some of these kids, given the fact that they kind of knew or had really good tendencies and had the call signs of what the other teams were doing, and they had a really good advantage, that could affect some of the kids' draft stocks and things like that. You're affecting money. I just hope that's not necessarily the case.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to wind this stream down. So thank you, Alex.
Have a good evening.
You too. All right, everyone. I don't have anything else to say. I'm powerless to do anything about any of this. So let's see how it plays out. It doesn't sound like that. The teams, the team's ability to hold on a second. I thought I felt the sneeze coming on. Well, it sounds like the team actually playing this season out won't be impacted. It sounds that way. So this could be a Fab Five thing where they have tremendous success and then banners get removed, games get erased. I don't know, but you know, it looks like they'll at least be able to play the next month and then into the playoff. So the season should be decided on the field. There's been a lot of speculation that this may be the thing that runs Jimbo back to the NFL. I don't know. A lot of uncertainty right now, and certainly this is not what we wanted to be talking about at this point for team number 144. So I'm going to read PJ Graham's comment here, and then I think this will be the last one. He says, "We are the toughest and most complete team. It might be taken away, but these young men deserve respect. Much respect, Bucknut." So that was to Alex. All right, everyone. Hey, if you're watching this on the playback, let me know, you in the audience, let me know what you think in the comments section below. It doesn't look like this is going away anytime soon. Hopefully the kids can stay focused. They seem focused. They seem focused. They don't seem like they're, I mean, certainly they know what's going on, but in the interviews, people are just asking them about the games. So I'm sure the coaching staff has talked to them about it. They know what's going on. So at this point, hopefully the kids can stay focused on the task at hand. And well, we'll see what happens. All right, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night. PJ Graham, thank you for that. Thank you for that. That's much appreciated. You know, sometimes when you're creating content and you're one of the smaller channels, you don't know, you know, how good you're doing relative to some of the other guys. Speaking of which, Johnny agreed to come back for Penn State week. So Johnny is going to join me probably the Monday before the Penn State game. I like to get the pre-game shows done on Monday so people can watch them throughout the week. So look for that. Look for another collaboration with the great Johnny Olden. In about a week and a half, I see Immaculate Defecation. Immaculate Defecation. Which fan base are you from? Are you an Ohio State guy? You a Michigan guy? You a Penn State guy? Alabama? Georgia? I haven't seen you before or your avatar before. Which fan base are you? Who you with? And Raheem Gaines, I appreciate your level-headed analysis of all of this, of everything. You could cry that the sky's falling like everyone else, but even though you're on the other side, you're part of that team down south. I appreciate your level-headedness. Immaculate Defection. The answer was right there in front of me. You're part of the Michigan fan base. Go Blue. All right. And Closed AI says, good stuff, man. Go Blue. Thank you for stopping through. All right. Let me wind this down so I could eat before it's not too late. All right, everyone. This is Big Discussion 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. If you're a returning sub, please like and share. If you want to donate something to the channel, my Cash App and PayPal are below in the description box. You can also leave a super thanks. If you're watching on the playback, the information for my newsletter is in the description box in case you are a reader. A lot of people today are not readers. They are watchers. They are video watchers. Shout out to Diamond Dave. And with that, I'm going to wrap this up. Let's see where this goes, everyone. Go blue. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.